it isn't lost on us, perhaps, that we're in a utopian building, in a utopian university. And I don't think we would have bothered putting this gathering together unless there was a feeling of specialness, a feeling of potential on this very ecological campus, a very, very beautiful campus, that this young university harbours a sense of the poetic alongside a sense of the practical, and that it refuses to have one in a way without the other. I know when this building opened about 2 years ago, and I had to come up with a soundbite or something for the newspapers or something, I found myself saying that it was like walking into a poem, that it had all the poetics of a work of art and all the practicalities of a safe haven. And when I thought about my own words after, I realised that they were in a way bringing science and art together. Because the safe haven has got to make sure that the roof doesn't leak, and if that's not science, nothing is. But the poetics have got to do with what you do inside the house, what happens and why it's worthwhile being there. We need the two. And the Irish World Academy itself is very inspired, has been, by the words of Seamus Heaney, when he talks about two orders of knowledge, calls them, he says, the poetic and the practical. And there's nothing more practical and scientific in a way than a poem. And there's nothing more poetic than a great scientific discovery. So even there you can see that you need, in a way, to combine that head in the clouds moment with that feet on the ground moment, a kind of a spiritual linking of the heavens and the earth, a kind of an earthing in a way, a lightning bolt, a lightning strike, a eureka moment which gives rise to things like the University of Limerick itself. And our founding president will know what I'm talking about when I say the first thing you see and saw with this university was a poem inscribed on a rock on the way in the main avenue, which is still there. And it is the words of the high romanticism and early Yeats, of course. And I know that Ed Walsh selected these himself, because I remember you telling the story about that. And of course those words, which we now pass sometimes without seeing them, are "Unplucked till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun." If that's not utopian, nothing is. It most certainly is. And a final quote from Heaney, just to bring this to an end, of course. It's the first poem in his collection, interestingly called Seeing Things, which has spiritual connotations as well. And he says, "Upend the rain stick, and what happens next is a music you never would have thought to listen for." And I love that notion. It's a music not that you never heard before, or music that you heard of but haven't heard and are now about to hear it because somebody asked you to put this CD on. He says what you hear now is a music you never would have thought to listen for. So you're so far back from it. It's actually over the horizon. It's in the offing, as he would say. But it's over the horizon, but it's about to come. So we stand at the water's edge, looking to the horizon, into the offing, to see what is in the offing. And that may be a poem, that may be a great architectural idea, a great social idea, a great point of philosophy. But always it is celebratory. And always it brings with us not just merely optimism, of course, but the real emotion of human hope, which seems to be the only thing worthwhile stoking the fire of. The poem ends with saying, "You are like a rich man entering heaven through the ear of a raindrop. Listen now again." So we have a reception, so shall we say, go forth singing Ita Missa Est. Thank you.